Hello guys and welcome to our last video about Navigation 3. This is the last one in the series and we will be covering transitions between screens. We will see the three transitions that we have, how we can customize them, and I will show you two ways that you can implement and customize those three transitions. So let's go in and see first how we can do that globally and then locally for each screen. If we want to define this globally, we can do this, here you see that it already has implemented some defaults. There is a transition spec, pop transition spec, and there is predictive pop transition spec, and those are all of those already have defaults already implemented, but we can override this as you can see, and the defaults are this simple fade in and fade out transitions that you have, and this is the predictive one. So this is what happens when you pull with your finger and what happens while you are pulling and when you let go. So that is the pop predictive transition spec. I mentioned the defaults. These are the defaults. It's just simple fade in, fade out that lasts 700 milliseconds, and we can override this. As you can see, it is just a simple lambda that returns content transform. Again, these all return the same content transform, and now we will override those. So let's start with the transition spec, and we will return content transform. So this is target content enter. This is the enter transition for the content that is coming into the view, and we have initial content exit, what's happening with the view or the screen that is currently there, that is currently visible. So you can see there is enter and exit. We also can customize this with the size transform, but that's for another video, maybe about animations, etc. This is just a simple one. What happens with the content that's coming in, and what happens with content that's going out of the view. You can have any enter animation here, like slide in horizontally, and you can have any exit here for the initial content exit. You can have slide out horizontally, and you can see how it slides into the view. But pop we did not yet define. It is still a default one. So slide in horizontal and slide out, they have this offset of X. There is slide in horizontally and vertically. Horizontally has the offset of X, vertically offset of Y, of course, and that defines the offset where the animation will start. Now we take the full width of the screen, so that it will start from the end, and you can take the 10th of that whole space, and it will start from here, and it will just be like, and that will be it. There is a pop transition spec that we can also define. We can copy paste the existing one that we have, and then we can run and see what happens. Again, let's go back to this so it will take a full width, so it will be easier to see what's going on. You see that they both go in the same direction because they both define it, but also, as you will see, we can have minus it, and it will go in the opposite direction. That's how you control where it goes. We can also combine those with plus operator. So we have fade in plus slide in horizontally, so it will slide in and fade, and the content that's exiting, it will be sliding out and fading out. Again, you can customize this and do just that for the tenth of the screen. And because now it is fading out, you can see that it's a bit weird when it's sliding, and we can go back just to fade, and then it looks a bit better. Again, it's going into a wrong direction. As I said, you can do minus it. You should not to do this for both, but we're showcasing here that it will completely change the direction where the animation is coming from and where it is going to. But let's go back to the initial ones, which is it minus it half of it, and there is the other way how you can define this, and it is using together with infix function. So it combines enter and exit animation. So you don't need to create the object, and you see that we have basically the same thing that we had before, as we did combine previously for the out animation. We can do still the same thing for the out animation, exit animation. We don't need these parentheses, we can remove them. Together with, you will see you cannot mix it, so you need to have enter animation together with exit animation, of course. And you see that it works the same. The other way, how we can define those animations are per entry or per screen. The ones that we saw before are um, globally, these are local. You see, we have this nav display object, and we have transition spec pop transition spec and predictive pop transition spec um, methods defined on it, and that's how you override each. And this will override it per screen, so it will be applied just for this particular screen where you are setting metadata for. And again, we'll just do fade in, fade out with simple together with. We will not create that whole object. It's nicer like this. You can also do exit transitions dot none, so nothing will happen with the content that's exiting, and we have keep until transition finished, which will, as it says here, um, defer the exit until both enter and exit animations have finished. We go back, and if you run it, you can see that we can again use whichever we want. Um, use them I wrote them for the wrong screen. Because onboarding one is always there. Let's do it for the onboarding two, so it's we can see it, and it comes from the top. Now we can do minus it to change the direction. It will now it was minus it by default, and we will do it, and it will change the direction and come from the bottom, because the coordination system starts from the top left, and it is full width. It's not. It's inverted on Android in general. We can combine those with plus operator, so we can do nav display plus pop transition spec. Again, this overrides only for this particular screen, and here you can see we cannot use together with, because it combines enter together with exit animation. We need enter animation together with exit animation. If we don't have the enter animation, nothing will happen with a screen that's coming in. So this is just showcasing things. Yeah, pop, and we will not do predictive one because it is the same as with pop, just you trigger it differently. You can again customize as much as you want. Now you saw that fade, and just to make things a bit more obvious, let's have this scaling. So this when the first one, the enter transition in pop transition spec is the screen that's coming into the view, and you can see that it is scaling in, and you saw it scaling out. We can also control how those animations are playing out, and here we will set a tween with 1 second. That is just a linear animation, and it will take linearly 1 second. And you can see that it pops into the screen. We can just go super crazy with this, and so you can see it's fading in slowly and scaling in slowly. And now we will do the same same for enter. We will do same for exit. We will have scale out, and we will have just some long tween, so it will be visible. Again, some obnoxiously long animations for showcasing things. It will slowly fade out, and then it will and scale out, and it will slowly fade in and scale in. That is it for our series on navigation, on Compose Navigation 3. We covered the most important parts. If you guys are interested in something that I did not cover, you can comment it, and I can make a video about it. But this is mostly what you had. You had um, everything that you can do with Navigation 3 library, together with some deep dives into the internals of the library and how it works. This wraps up the series, and in our next video, we will start by exploring Circuit. That's a framework from Slack that makes you able to build apps, Android apps, and compose multi-platform apps with pure compose. And we will see how it does that. We will also do a deep dive into that one, and you will see how it combines multiple tools to make one great tool. And I really love and enjoy working with it. But more on that in that series. See you there.